I'm Lee Spencer with RacinBoys. I'm here with Stevie Reeves, and kind of cool for you to keep coming back to Chili Bowl each year. You miss being in one of these cars?
Yeah, I really do. This is actually my vacation every year. I have 3 seats going into turn 1, and this is the only race I actually pay to go watch every year. So this is something I look forward to. I get away. My son's here with me. My son-in-law is over racing Tyler Green with Jeff Green. They're over racing the RC cars in another building. So it's kind of just a family affair. We come out here and just really enjoy the Chili Bowl, and you know, it's kind of our last big thing before we head back at it and go racing again.
For us newbies, what was your first experience here?
I came here way back in 1991. Drove for Wilkie's back then. I finished 11th the first year. In 92, finished 7th. And then came back, missed 93, came back in 94 and finished second to Oklahoma Andy Hillenberg. And since he's right from here, they play that one all the time, so I see myself getting beat all the time on the screen, and you know, it kind of hurts. But you know, with the winners on the back of all the shirts, it kind of, everybody rubs it in saying I should be there. So I told them that they printed the second place guys on the inside this year. So you know, but just, you know, back then there was, you know, compared to now, there was only 180 cars back then, but the quality, you know, of the cars that could win were just as stout as they were now. You know, now the nostalgia of the Chili Bowl, and you got people that just want to come to say they run the Chili Bowl, but this has been a major event for a long time. I mean, before all the fans really caught on to how big it was.
What was the car count when you ran your first Chili Bowl? Do you remember?
I don't remember the first year, but I think it was around 180, though, the last year we came.
And now we have 362, which is just absolutely mind-blowing, and we're going 5 days. So at that time, did you ever think that event could get this large?
No, but, you know, I'm very thankful it has, because this is the kind of racing that I grew up doing. This is the kind I love. This is, you know, my whole life. This is what racing is. And, you know, people that can race these cars and run wheel to wheel, and that's where you see, you know, the history, and even in NASCAR, you know, with Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart and now Christopher Bell. And, I mean, there's the list is on and on about all the people that's come out of this. And just being able to do the wheel-to-wheel racing, it teaches you so much compared to other forms of racing that prepares people. This is, you know, you learn what a car does, and you're part of the car in these.
As a NASCAR spotter, you have seen Christopher Bell make that transition from open wheel to NASCAR, and I've got to say, just, you know, in my experience, and I'm certainly, you know, don't have yours where you've driven a car and you've spotted for as long, and you really have to observe everything that you do. But I've got to say, I have yet to see someone who is as quick of a learner as Christopher Bell behind the wheel, coming from his move from trucks to Xfinity. You know, the second half of the season, he really seems to pick up that game.
Yeah, Christopher is an amazing talent. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of car he's in. I mean, last year when you win the Chili Bowl, you win World of Outlaw races, which people that usually run non-wing cars can't get in a wing car and run real good. And when you only run a few a year and you go beat the best of the best in both of those, that tells you what kind of talent he is. And then they go and put him in, you know, a position where he was behind going into the championship, and he goes and just dominates at Phoenix. And, you know, he's just an amazing talent, and it doesn't matter what kind of car you put him in, he adapts to it. And, you know, that's where the greats like, you know, Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart have been able to do, and he's right in line to be another one.
I'm sitting here watching what Tracy Hines did yesterday, flipping the way he did, coming back through the C, the B to the A. I saw J.J. Yaley, after he was DQ'd, do what he did. We're talking about guys 46 and 42 years old. Even though the young guys have really dominated here over the last few years, those guys might surprise us on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, experience plays a big part in anything. And those guys, you know, you go back and look at record books, they're in them. And, you know, you have the Dave Darlings and everybody that's here. And that's one thing about the Chili Bowl. You got champions from every series there is, and that's what makes this place so special. But you can't count out the veterans. I mean, that's experience does a lot, because you have 300 cars, but you have probably 150 that's got hardly any experience. So those guys are going to get in front of them quick. And that's when the experience kicks in, and they know what to do to make the A-mains and do all that. So, like where Tracy Hines got upside down. Everybody was like, wow, he was so high and everything. If you go back and look at the video, the only shot it really took was on the tire when it came down, and that took a lot of the blowout, and they changed a few parts, and he's right back at it. And, it was spectacular, but he didn't really take a hard shot on the cage or anything like that. And I talked to him today, and he said he's not sore or nothing at all, and that's how these cars are built, to take those kind of things. And people that don't know about open wheel racing, and they see those, they think these guys are crazy, but we grew up and this is what we do and this is what we know, and that's just part of it. You're going to do that when you strap one on, and that's just it happens, and you just think about the next step to how you make the feature, and that's what these guys do. They don't worry about what happens, they worry about what's going to happen.
Last year you worked with Paul Menard and the Wood Brothers, and we lost one of the most iconic and beloved patriarchs of the sport with Glenn Wood passing. What is it about their family that has endured over so many years in NASCAR, and from 1950 to 2019?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of sad hearts there, and my prayers and thoughts go out to that family. But I got to know them really well last year, and I tell you that family is just known for so much across the sport, from the way they've innovated pit stops. I mean, that's why they're so fast today, because they're the first ones that started showing people that how important it was. But just the family, aside from all the racing, just some of the best people you've ever met. And I'm very fortunate I got a chance to meet them and be around them last year. And it's just a big loss, because they're not just a team, they're a family. And there's that's kind of moving over this year to JTG. That's a family-owned organization, and when you're with a big company, you don't have the the camaraderie and stuff you have with a family team. And like going over there this year, I went in the first day and was hugged 3 times by Jody, who was one of the owners of the team where I'm at now. And that's what racing's about. It's family sports, and that's where it's big here at the Chili Bowl. And it's just a racing family. When they say that, they mean it, especially when tragedy like this happens and people come together. But when it happens to good people, it just makes it even harder.
And Ryan Preece, you'll be working with him this year. I don't think they've announced that yet, but when I think of some of the young kids coming up the pike today, we have so many buy rights coming into NASCAR. He is a kid that really worked for this opportunity and has so much talent, and he is so respected up in the Northeast for what he's been able to do, on pavement. So what is it about Ryan that when the opportunity presented itself, you were like, hey, I can see myself with this kid for a long time?
Well, that's the thing about the sport. It's evolved so different that, you hear people coming up through the ranks. They're only at Hickory Motor Speedway for a few weeks, and then they're somewhere else, and then they run K&N, and then they're in trucks, and they come up so fast that when they get there, it's like having foreign drivers. Nobody knows who they are. Well, Ryan, he's won the modified championship. He came and he tried the Xfinity deal, ran for a year, but it was with a lower dollar team, and being competitive, he didn't want to do that. He went back to the modifieds, and that's right along my line. That's when I quit driving, was because my whole life I won races, and when I walked through that gate, I could win. And when I got to the Busch Series, I just wasn't with the teams that could do that, and it was hard on me, and that's why I decided to quit. So when he did that kind of reminded me of myself. He went back, and they took some of the money from a sponsorship standpoint that he could have run a full season in NASCAR. And to say no, to go back and do what he did, that's impressive. And he put it into Joe Gibbs for 4 races, showed what he could do, and it's led to getting this Cup ride. Well, for me, that's very exciting because he's a racer. He knows how to do it. You don't have to teach him how to do it. But there's little things that you can do in the Cup Series about letting people go and different things like that I can help him with, and maybe make his learning curve a little quicker. But as far as a race driver, he don't need help doing that, because he's a very good talent. And this is the first time in a long time I've been really excited about going into a season with somebody new that is hungry and wants it just as bad as anybody out there. And as a racer myself, that's fun.
We don't have testing for rookies anymore, but I believe you guys are going to test at Las Vegas with the company test. Is that correct?
Yes, we'll be out there. That'll be my first time actually on the radio with him, but yeah, we're looking forward to that. And you know, the way it is now, you know, they're not true rookies like what we talked about. He's got experience in cars, and actually this year with that new restrictor plate rule, that's going to make it more like what the Xfinity car is. It's slower down the straightaway, but it's faster through the corner. We saw, like, at the test there last year with Paul, it was like 4 mile an hour faster through the middle of the corner. Well, that's what the Xfinity cars are, is a momentum thing. So I think his learning curve is going to be less because of that, because he's used to the Xfinity cars. So that might play into his favor for adapting a lot quicker than normal. So, again, I'm excited for the first time in a while to go do this.
Stevie, we really appreciate you joining us today, and good luck with Ryan Preece this season.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm glad to see you here at the Chili Bowl, and, you know, it's something different for all of us to get to go have fun and see some good racing. And, you know, the one thing about the Chili Bowl that a lot of people miss is when you come early in the day on Saturday and you're in the O-mains, people usually don't come watch that, but you got guys that have never won anything in their life, and they're racing so hard to say they want to race at the Chili Bowl, and they're throwing slide jobs that they don't know how to do. And it's actually some of the funnest racing to watch is the early ones, because you got guys that are trying so hard that don't know how but want it. You know, so that's a good time. So we appreciate you guys covering this. And like I said, this is what I grew up doing, and this is where my heart is.
I kind of fear for JJ having to start in the O-main against those, you know, those exact people you're talking about, and with his experience just trying to get out of there, that's going to be a precarious adventure for him. Yeah,
well, them saying I beat JJ Yeley, that's what they're going to be trying to do, and that's what makes this sport fun, and that's why people come back, because of the competition. And I that's why I'm here. This is my vacation, and you know, I race all year long and get paid to do it, but I pay to come watch this one, because this one's just just awesome.
Thank you for your time, my friend.
Thank you.